Hello and welcome back to Teens Voice Your Own platform.
You're 16, 17, 18 years old, and every single adult in your life keeps asking the same terrifying question. So, what are you going to do with your life? They ask it at dinner. They ask it in the classroom. They ask it while you're barely awake, holding a lukewarm cup of coffee, trying to survive another day of algebra. And every time they ask, your stomach drops. Because the honest answer, the one you're too ashamed to say out loud, is, I don't know. I have no idea what I want to become. And that admission feels like failure. It feels like you're behind. Like everyone else your age has already downloaded their life plan, signed the contract, and picked out their future office, while you're still trying to figure out what you want to eat for breakfast. Let me stop you right there. That feeling, the tight chest, the late night scrolling through career quizzes, the panic when someone announces they've already been accepted to a program, that is not a sign that you're broken. That is the sound of being a teenager in a world that demands certainty before you've even had a chance to live. The fear of the future, that specific, gnawing dread of not knowing who you're supposed to become, is one of the heaviest weights on the teenage shoulders today. And nobody talks about it like the real crisis it is. They call it being lost, they call it lacking direction, but what it actually is the perfectly logical result of being asked to choose a path when you're still learning how to walk. Let's be real about what's happening inside your head. The fear of not knowing your future isn't just about a job title. It's about identity. It's about worth, because somewhere along the line, we were taught that what you do equals who you are. So when you don't know what you want to become, it feels like you don't know who you are. And that is terrifying for a teenage brain that is already flooded with hormones, social pressure, and the constant highlight reels of everyone else's lives on social media. You see the girl who's been passionate about medicine since she was 6. You see the guy who started a business at 15. You see the artist with thousands of followers. And you look at yourself and think, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have that? Why can't I just pick something? But here's the secret nobody tells you. Most of those certain teenagers are just as scared as you are. They've just gotten really good at pretending. They've chosen a path not because they're sure, but because the pressure to choose became unbearable. They picked something, anything, just to stop the questions. And many of them will change their minds. Many of them will wake up at 25 and realize they built a life around a decision they made when they were too young to know themselves. That is not success. That is survival. And you refusing to fake an answer? That's not weakness. That's integrity. You're not lost. You're just not willing to lie. So what do you actually do with this fear? Because I know you can't just ignore it. I know the questions aren't going to stop. Your parents will keep asking. Your teachers will keep pushing. And a voice in your own head will keep whispering that you're falling behind. So here's what you do. You stop trying to find the answer, and you start collecting data. You are not supposed to know your entire future right now. You are supposed to be experimenting. Think of yourself not as a person who needs to choose one career forever, but as a scientist running small experiments on yourself. Try things without committing to them. Take that random elective. That sounds kind of interesting. Join a club that has nothing to do with your supposed path. Volunteer somewhere for an afternoon. Shadow an adult in a job you're curious about, even if you're pretty sure you won't like it. Why? Because every no you collect is just as valuable as a yes. Every time you try something and realize this is not for me, you have not failed. You have eliminated one option. You have gotten closer to the truth. The fear of the future thrives in the dark. It grows when you sit alone in your room, doom scrolling, and comparing yourself to strangers. But the moment you take one small, imperfect action, the moment you send one email, ask one question, try one thing, that fear loses its power. Because action is the antidote to anxiety. And here is the most important thing I need you to hear, teen's voice. The question, what do you want to become, is actually the wrong question. It assumes that becoming is a destination. that you will arrive one day at a finished version of yourself. That is a lie. You will never be finished. You will never wake up and think that's it. I'm complete. I've figured out everything. The most interesting, successful, fulfilled adults I know are still figuring it out at 40, at 50, at 60. They've changed careers. They've started over. They've discovered passions they never saw coming. So the real question isn't what do you want to become? The real question is what do you want to try next? That's it. That's the whole secret. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need a 5-month experiment, or a 5-week one, or even just a 5-day curiosity. The fear of the future is real, and it is heavy, and it is exhausting. But you were never meant to carry it alone, and you were never meant to have it all figured out. Every single adult who seems certain, they're making it up as they go. They're guessing. They're hoping, just like you. The difference is that they've learned to be okay with not knowing. And today, you start learning that too. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are exactly where you need to be in the messy, uncomfortable, beautiful middle of becoming. And becoming takes time. So take a breath, put down the career quiz, and let yourself be a teenager who is still learning who they are. That is more than enough. That is everything. I'm your host, and this is Teen's Voice. You're not alone, and you're not late. You're right on time. See you next time.